Coming up on First at 4, Kentucky's Lieutenant Governor visits folks in 2 communities in the Big Sandy today. And a key interest rate decision comes down from the Fed this afternoon.
Plus, our streak of dry weather looks to continue to close out the work week. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman made several stops in the mountains today, visiting Floyd and Magoffin counties. Coleman started her visit in Salyersville this afternoon, bringing more than $400,000 to the Magoffin County Fiscal Court. One check was for resurfacing several county roads, while the second was for recycling and solid waste advancements in the county. Coleman says it's all about building a better region.
Clean water, for broadband, for better roads. That's the infrastructure we have to build so that businesses are attracted to our communities that will create these great jobs. It's all part of that same cycle.
Coleman also visited Prestonsburg and Martin. We'll have more, including her stops at some Floyd County schools, coming up at 6. Breathitt County Sheriff John Holland says his office has temporarily reopened. The sheriff's office had recently closed due to insufficient funds. Judge Executive Jeff Noble, who you see there, says the Breathitt County Fiscal Court will have a meeting next Tuesday to determine how much money to give to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Holland says the fiscal court is doing all it can to help.
Well, the weather remains rather stagnant across the mountains for the middle of this week. We're still dry under some sunshine, but those temperatures are starting to warm. Here's a live look over at the London Corbin Airport right now, and we're up to 79 degrees under that partly sunny sky. Most of us this afternoon in the upper 70s and lower 80s. 84 in Somerset, 81 for Irvin, 80 in Manchester, up to 76 over in Pikeville at this hour. We are dry on the radar, watching out though for a few of those clouds, and that dry weather is going to continue as high pressure continues to sit over the region. So if you have any plans into this evening, the forecast is looking pretty good. We're dry under a partly cloudy sky, and those temperatures falling into the upper 50s and lower 60s as you wake up on Thursday. So we're not as chilly as you wake up and walk out the door tomorrow, as those clouds acting as a blanket overnight. More warmer weather on Thursday, Friday, some cooler weather for the weekend, and then maybe a few rain chances by next week. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. The chairman of the Federal Reserve has announced interest rates will remain unchanged, at least for now. Experts say the Fed may choose to raise interest rates again in November or December. Some predict a 50-50 chance of that happening. Financial experts say the Fed will be keeping an eye on the labor market and other indicators to determine future steps. Greg McBride is a chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com.
Unemployment's still below 4%. There's a real strain on the budget of households. Millions of households are living paycheck to paycheck.
After today's decision to keep rates unchanged, the Fed does not meet again until November. More people are buying and refinancing their homes despite those high interest rates. A new report shows mortgage rates rose more than 5% between last week and the prior one. The numbers are from the Mortgage Bankers Association. Its deputy chief economist notes the jump comes as the 30-year fixed rate edges back up. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy says he is not giving up on reaching a deal ahead of the government shutdown deadline. McCarthy spoke to reporters today while starting his day on Capitol Hill. When asked if he is confident he can put together a deal in time, McCarthy likened negotiations to a sports clock ticking down. His comments come as the infighting within the Republican Party continues.
Members are already in meeting. I think we're making some progress. We made some progress last night. Look. It's not September 30th. The game is not over, so we continue to work through it. And I've been at this place many times before, and we're going to solve this problem.
Right now, House GOP members are unable to come to an agreement on the spending bill, which is slowing progress on Capitol Hill. McCarthy says House Republicans are closer to finding a deal to avert a shutdown. President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hosted a bilateral meeting today at the United Nations General Assembly. Prime Minister Netanyahu reflected on the long-time relationship he's had with President Biden and described the time period for the world as a time of great promise, but also great danger. He also said he is committed to working toward Arab-Israeli peace and democracy.
I think that under your leadership, Mr. President, we can forge a historic peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Both leaders signaled a desire to ease strains in their relationship, but President Biden also made it clear he was determined to discuss their differences. These include his opposition to Netanyahu's far-right government's judicial overhaul plan, as well as his concern about Israel's hard line toward the Palestinians. Coming up on First at 4, there is a new leader at Apple Red, the nonprofit legal aid group serving Eastern Kentucky.
Plus, we are tracking mainly dry conditions for outdoor festivals this week. Those details coming up.